maybe Jason Kelce should teach Andy Reid the tricks if Andy Reid is willing to listen, because it just hit me today. Here it is, Wednesday, September 6, 2023, and going forward, I don't want to hear an injury update from another head coach in the NFL because they're boring. And they don't tell you anything. They're just trying. You see Andy Reid. Andy Reid hasn't moved that fast in 35 years.
Yeah, he was ready to get out of there.
Of that, he was like, oh, yeah, okay, I'm out, okay, bye. He told you nothing.
Nope, not announced.
He was just breathing hard. He didn't say nothing.
And honestly, if you would have pulled up social media yesterday, you would have thought a president passed away. I mean, fantasy footballs everywhere getting just demolished. And really, you think of this Chiefs team, and it's so easy to praise Patrick Mahomes. I mean, for God's sake, his total stats as a week 1 starting QB: 1,542 passing yards, 18 touchdowns, 0 interceptions with a 136.9 passer rating. But how many of those games was he alongside the Robin to his Batman, Travis Kelce? I mean, listen, Patrick Mahomes is good, but he's not God. And there is not a whole lot of intimidation around his receiving core for me to be like, oh yeah, they've still got a chance. Patrick Mahomes is great. Do not mess up what I'm saying here, you guys. I know he is a phenomenal quarterback, the best in the league, but he's also got a sidekick who is arguably the best in the league in his respective position. So again, I look at this roster for the Chiefs and go, without Kelce, what do they do? I mean, he's great. Right. Patrick Mahomes is great, but he's not God. Maybe he is. If he can make the same amount of noise that he has in the last, however many seasons in week 1, I just read all those total stats. He's phenomenal in week 1. If he can do that same thing without Kelce, with the receiving core he's got, maybe he is God. And I'll swallow my words.
Well, listen, I don't know if his brother, Jason, is God, but he's a damn good physician. Okay?
That's right.
So according to Dr. Jason Kelce, gave us anecdotes and gave us science. Dr. Kelce says, look, I was trying to build a bonfire, and I did something like this. I tried to kick a piece of wood in half. I thought I was strong enough to kick a piece of wood in half. Okay, I love that. I never think that. I've never thought I was strong enough to kick anything in half. But anyway,
he
did that.
Right.
He was unsuccessful, and he hyperextended his knee in the middle of the season. He played. But think about what he told us. Talked to Travis yesterday. Look, if they can get the swelling down, they should be all right. ACL's good. He might have a chance to play. I'm like, oh my God.
We could be getting bamboozled here. Honestly, we could be getting bamboozled. He could be ready to go. We don't even, Andy Reid, but to me, Andy Reid's emotions seemed frustrated. I don't think he's feeling optimistic at this point in time.
He's just frustrated with the meeting. He's just frustrated,
of course,
that he has to have this conversation at all.
Right.
But Jason Kelce told you a lot. But beyond that, I agree with you, Liv. This is not about fantasy football. This is about
it's not.
This is about trying to be the first team in 20 years to repeat as Super Bowl champions.
Yeah.
So Kansas City, everybody's favorite coming out of the AFC, or most people's favorite coming out of the AFC. You said it earlier. There's pretty much unanimous agreement that Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in football.
Absolutely.
But I think some of the Mahomes conversation, Liv, just went crazy last year because of what he was able to do, especially in the Super Bowl, playing hurt in the Super Bowl. Brings them back. Looked like he was down and out. Would he even be able to play in the third quarter? He comes out. He's got his 7th round running back back there in Pacheco. He's got Juju there drawing a key penalty at a key point in the game. All these things were like, oh, Patrick Mahomes can do it. His running game is limited. Tyreek Hill moved on. He doesn't have an all-pro receiver, but he does have an all-pro receiver.
He's got Travis Kelce.
His name is Travis Kelce, who's an all-pro receiver. And so think about this. Tomorrow night, let's say you don't have Travis Kelce.
Right.
And you don't have Chris Jones. Okay, that's the Trinity. That's the Trinity right there.
Yep.
You got in order, you've got Mahomes, then you've got Kelce, and then you've got Jones. So if you got Mahomes by himself, Yeah, they might be able to get by Detroit, but my bet's your money. I'm not picking Kansas City.
Well,
that's tomorrow.
And let me tell you,
that's tomorrow.
I'm gonna play a little devil's advocate here and say that
Come on.
the Detroit Lions, I get it. We don't like talking about the Detroit Lions because they're the Detroit Lions, but there's a lot of optimism trickling over from them last season. I think we get ourselves a good Thursday night football game. Again, we don't like to talk about Jared Goff, but what he did last year, he had an incredible season. And if he had done what he did with any other name, we probably would have talked about it more. But it's Jared Goff and it's the Detroit Lions. He's entering this game with a top 5 O-line. There's a lot of optimism, like I said, trickling in. They've got coaching, continuity, and experience. I'm just saying, don't be shocked if you see an upset by the Lions. They've got what they need.
Hey, listen, I'm with you. That's what I'm telling you. My bet's your money. I just gotta tell you. I can't keep a secret. I'm terrible. Don't tell me your secrets. Don't tell me your secrets. I'll tell somebody, and I might even do it on the air. I'm picking the Lions. I'm picking the Lions flat out.
Okay.
To win the game. I'm picking the Lions.
I like it.
Now I still think the Chiefs are going to be in the Final Four in the AFC. I will pick them to be in the Final Four for the majority of Patrick Mahomes' career. All right, so I'm going to contradict what I just said. Hey, he can't do it all by himself, but he put you in the Final Four if you got Patrick Mahomes. But I'm with you. I'm with you. The Lions.
Love it.
The Lions are good. All right, so Kelce may not play. Maybe he does. Chris Jones, how do you feel about this situation, Liv? I mean, I don't know if it's so serious that if Chris Jones does what he said, I'm prepared to hold out until week 8. I'm prepared till week 8. If that happens, is anybody, not just in the conference, but is anybody in the division prepared to take over Kansas City's throne? I don't see your Broncos doing it. I'm assuming you're a Broncos fan.
No, listen, I am a Broncos fan, and I am not a naive one. I am very intelligent, and I know that it's going to be an uphill battle for the Broncos. A lot of hype around the Chargers, but I'll tell you right now, I've had the same sentiment about them for seasons. And Justin Herbert, as great as he is, he can't do it with an incompetent coach standing in his way. They have not gotten rid of Staley, so to me, he will still be in his way. I love what the Chargers have. Hell, they took half of TCU's roster from last season. So yes, I'm naturally a little bit of a fan here, and I love Justin Herbert. But I actually spoke about this a little while ago, that Justin Herbert is a very interesting quarterback because he's extremely humble. He's a team player. He's a leader, but he's almost too humble. Like, if you've got a coach like Staley standing in your way, speak up. Use your chest. You are way too good of a football player and too good of a quarterback to kind of just succumb to the crappy coaching, and it sucks because what makes you good makes you bad. He's extremely respectful. He's extremely humble, but I almost want him to be a little more, let's get a sprinkle of Aaron Rodgers in there, who walks in and says, nah, we're not doing this. This is what we're doing. Herbert will never be that way, but I think as long as Staley is there, he is going to have a hard time being successful with that team in terms of taking over a very competitive division. And as for the Raiders, I like the ad of Jimmy G, but if I don't want to put my money on someone who can't stay healthy. So I think it's the Chiefs division for a while, honestly.
I think so too. That's what happens. There's a lot of conversation about the Chiefs. Are they really a dynasty? One of the staples of any dynasty, you can go back. You can look at the Steelers in the 70s. You can look at the 80s teams, whether you look at the 49ers, in the old NFC West, the 90s, the Cowboys, the 2000s, the Patriots. What these teams do, these dynasties and mini dynasties, the first thing they do is just wipe out the division. They wipe everybody out. All the coaches get fired. Teams are always looking for different quarterbacks, looking for different answers, because these dynastic teams, they just dominate the division. So if you look at Kansas City has streaks against teams in the division that are just embarrassing. Like Kansas City's streak against Denver. Come on. I mean, like, when's the last time Denver beat Kansas City? That's what happens. That's when you know you got the fingerprints of a dynasty. When other teams in the division be like, you know what, we can't beat them. We just go try. And you come in September talking about a wild card because you know you're not going to the division. So I agree with you. The Chiefs are going to do that thing. Hey, thank you for watching Brother from Another. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, go ahead and do that now. Don't forget, you can catch us 3 to 4 weekdays on PeacockTV.com and on Sirius XM Channel 85.